I don't know if you know that 4 people have been arrested after, would you believe this, custard and apple crumble were flung at a display case containing part of the crown jewels at the Tower of London. Police were called shortly before 10 o'clock this morning after the case containing the imperial state crown was defaced. Let's find out more about this from Joseph Clark, who is a spokesperson for Take Back Power, which is the organisation which threw food at the crown jewels this morning. Joseph, thank you for joining me. Were you among the people flinging the food, the crumble?
Well, firstly, hi, Vanessa. Thanks so much for having me on. I wasn't amongst the people doing it. I am a supporter of them. I'm a supporter of Take Back Power. And I'm here today to speak because Britain is broken. I mean, we've got children living in food poverty. The NHS is crumbling. And whilst all this is happening, we've got billionaires who continue to hoard their wealth, continue to assert their power across both politics and the media. And we're here to say that we need to put ordinary people at the centre of our politics. And that's why we're demanding a permanent House of the People in order to give ordinary citizens a say in how we tax the rich.
All right, tell me about how any of the beliefs that you've just set out are enhanced by throwing crumble and custard at the crown jewels. You would have thought that you would have wanted to put people front and centre, and the people who are using food banks or worried about heating or eating or concerned about how they can afford Christmas, you could have sat them down to a beautiful lunch and you could have served them the crumble and the custard. You didn't have to throw it at the crown jewels. What a waste of food.
Well, first of all, it's got me on your show. So although it might seem like quite a funny stunt, what we're dealing with is obviously a very serious situation of incredible inequality, and it's a desperate situation. In terms of the crown jewels, we know that they symbolise, or they're one of the key symbols of the inequality that we see in this country. But ultimately, we need to be focused on the 156 billionaires that we have in this country. I mean, if we took 75% of their wealth, we would still have 156 billionaires.
But wouldn't that be theft? But hang on a minute. But hang on a second, Joseph. I'm sure you're a delightful person. You're an idealist. It's lovely to hear your passion and enthusiasm and everything else. But let me ask you this. I would imagine that you have more than one pair of shoes, do you? Tell the truth. Do you have more than one pair? How many pairs of shoes do you have?
I'm not sure that's entirely relevant.
Well, you don't be the judge of whether it's relevant. Let me ask you, and then you can work that out afterwards when you hear why I'm asking you. Do you have more than one pair of shoes?
I've got a pair of trainers and a pair of running shoes.
All right. Well, let's imagine that I said you don't need both pairs of shoes. I'll just come and take your surplus shoes. I'll take them from you. Also, I'll have a look in your car and I'll see how many pairs of pants you've got. And you only need...
Vanessa,
no, but I'm not joking.
It's a ridiculous analogy.
It isn't at all. But it isn't, though. Because
we're talking about people who have billions of pounds.
But we don't have the right.
Billionaires.
But we don't have the right, do we, to commandeer and corral other people's possessions, decree that they don't need them and they're not entitled to them, and take them. That's theft. You can't just go and take people's things because you think they don't need them. You can't say to a fellow that you're wearing a Rolex, why don't you wear a Timex? I'm taking it. You don't need it. I'm going to take it and give it to somebody else who I feel needs it more than you do. That person may have worked for years and years and they may have been saving up for this Rolex their entire life. They may have been given it by their beloved grandmother. You don't know, but it's not for you to decree that other people's things are not their things, is it?
I'm sorry. Look, I care deeply about this country. I grew up in this country. I've been raised in this country. I'll probably live in this country for the rest of my life. And what we are seeing in the streets of this country is children that are starving, families that can't put food on the table. And you're saying to me that billionaires should be able to keep all their wealth.
But they don't keep all their wealth, do they? They pay the highest rate of tax, don't they? Unless they're doing something that is, I don't know, creative accountancy, that if it's outside the law, they ought to be prosecuted. If it's inside the law, then it's inside the law and it's acceptable. But almost everybody listening, almost everyone, maybe not you, and maybe there are some honourable and glowing exceptions, but most people would like to accumulate and to, have over a lifetime, a decent sized house and maybe a couple of cars, and then maybe they might dare to want to have, I don't know, in their wildest dreams, a holiday home or a timeshare or something like that, and then they might really want to have a house or a flat for their kids when they grow up. People in general would like to have quite a lot of stuff, and I don't know who gets to say that somebody's not entitled to more stuff than anybody else, but they've come by it by legal means. If they haven't, then of course not. But if they have, then why not?
Look, what we're asking people to do, we're not asking to intrude on the lives of people that have worked hard to amass their wealth. What we're asking people do is to act like a patriot and to do their fair share for the people of this country. And what that looks like is giving away a small portion of their fortune so that we don't have children starving. We are living in a country where there is not this mass sense of inequality. Currently, we have 3 million children living in food poverty. And your listeners will know that that's not okay. And if they agree with that and they agree that we need to take a stand against the rich, against the power that they have across both politics and our media channels, then they can join us at Take Back Power.
So when you say, for example, when you say, excuse me, but when you say, Joseph, the rich and the power that they have over our media channels, I mean, of whom are you thinking? Who are these rich billionaires with power over our media channels that you're considering at the moment? Are you thinking about in this country? And who are you thinking of that controls what the media says and doesn't say that is a billionaire? Who are you thinking
We've got five people in this country who own 80% of our media channels. I mean, every time one of these billionaires makes a donation to a political party, that's another way that they're having a vote. Why should they have more influence over politics and our dealings with international partners than ordinary people do? I'm sorry, but what I'm saying is we were going to have a democratic lottery, a sortition process, and create a House of the People that is representative so that ordinary people who know how this country should look and know that people shouldn't be starving are put at the centre of politics.
But should you not be, but Joseph, should you not be describing at the moment that House of ordinary people serving the public and doing what the public wants it to do on a democratic basis? Isn't that meant to be a socialist Labour government, which is what we're supposed to have? Isn't that exactly what they're meant to be doing? Isn't that what they were elected to do democratically? Isn't that what they're for? They're meant to be already there doing it, aren't they?
And they're not. I'm sorry, but people, it's not just this Labour government who, they're complicit in a genocide in Gaza. They've, starved pensioners.
The word genocide in Gaza is still a word that is, under debate and under discussion. It isn't a given that's what people think or that is the conclusion. So I have to just
that's your opinion.
It's not my opinion at all, but I'm just cautioning you about that.
What's not up for debate is the fact there's 3 million children living in food poverty and families can't get food on the table.
And just explain, so throwing apple crumble and custard at the crown jewels, how does that help them get food on the table? Just wondering.
Again, we've been over this. It's got me on your show talking about this.
But how is that going to help anybody,
People are now aware of House of the People. People are now aware of that. People are now aware that there's ordinary people like myself who are standing up to the rich and powerful and trying to put people at the centre of our politics.
Why don't you just stand for Parliament?
Agree with, they can join at takebackpower.net.
Joseph, you're a good talker. You've got lots of energy. You're full of passion. Why don't you stand to become an MP? Isn't that the way forward?
People are sick and tired of the establishment. It's not working for people. It hasn't worked for all of my lifetime. I'm sure it probably hasn't worked for most of yours as well.
And has it not worked
for most of your listeners?
For you? I mean, has your life been thwarted and made smaller and, I don't know, in some way kind of, adversely affected by the establishment? What have you not been able to do so far that you would like to do? How are you stopped?
I'm standing up for children who are currently living in poverty, for families who can't get food on the table. This isn't about me. This is about people who are struggling because of the rich.
And yet the two-child benefit cap has just been scrapped by the government. So do you see that as a step in the right direction? Very important
ordinary people should not be just collecting the crumbs of this government. Two-child benefit cap. Wow. Let's take a moment and applaud this Labour government for doing the bare minimum. No, I'm sorry. We need a wealth tax which redistributes wealth and a House of the People that puts ordinary people at the centre of politics. And we're going to get that.
I appreciate your appearance, Joseph. What do you think? Do you think that your party might be part of the solution? The Jeremy Corbyn Zara Sultana party. Do you fancy that one?
Well, again, they're looking to get involved in establishment politics, and that's not what we're here to do. We're here to create an entirely new House of the People that's more representative. And I think that.
And do you want to create it inside the House of the Tower of London? Is that what the relevance of the crown jewels and the apple crumble? Is that where you want to have it?
It will be replacing the House of Lords.
You want to replace the House of Lords? All right, thank you very much indeed. We'll look out for you, Joseph. Joseph Clark there, spokesperson for Take Back Power. It's an organisation which threw food at the crown jewels this morning.